What if everything you think you know about the pyramids is wrong? Not built by slaves, not built by aliens, but by people, just like us. For more than 4,500 years, the pyramids of Egypt have stood in the desert, silent, massive, and almost impossible to explain. The Great Pyramid alone contains over 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing tons, stacked with a precision so exact you can barely slide a blade between them. And naturally, when we look at something this incredible, we try to explain it. We imagine suffering. We imagine mystery. We imagine something beyond human. A million slaves, forced to work under the scorching sun. Or something even stranger, ancient aliens, descending from the sky with technology we don't understand. These stories are everywhere. Movies, books, documentaries. But here's the problem. They're not true. And the real story? It's been sitting in the sand, right next to the pyramids, this entire time. So where did these ideas come from? The slave labor story can be traced back to Herodotus. He visited Egypt around 450 BC. That's nearly 2,000 years after the pyramids were built. And yet, his writings became one of the main sources shaping how later generations understood ancient Egypt. He described vast numbers of men, forced into brutal labor, suffering, endless work. It was dramatic. And because it was dramatic, it spread. Over time, it blended with misinterpretations of biblical stories about slavery in Egypt. Then Hollywood took over, and the image became fixed: chains, whips, oppression. But there's one problem. There is no archaeological evidence supporting that narrative. None. And then there's the alien theory. Because if not slaves, then how? How do you move millions of stones, some weighing up to 70 tons? How do you align a structure so precisely with the cardinal directions without modern tools? It feels beyond human. And when something feels beyond human, we assume it must be. But that's where we underestimate the past. In 1988, something remarkable happened. Archaeologists Mark Lehner and Zahi Hawass began excavating an area just southeast of the pyramids at Giza. At first, it looked like nothing more than desert, sand, rock, but beneath the surface was an entire city, a real city, organized, planned, alive with history. They called it the Lost City of the Pyramid Builders, and what they found completely changed our understanding of how the pyramids were built. This wasn't a temporary camp thrown together for forced labor. This was a structured settlement, with streets, with storage facilities, with administrative buildings, with long barracks that could house thousands of workers at once. This was infrastructure, planning, logistics, everything you would expect from a large, organized workforce. But the biggest surprise wasn't the city itself. It was the lifestyle inside it. The strongest evidence doesn't come from buildings. It comes from the people themselves. Their skeletons tell the story. These workers were well fed. They ate meat regularly, something not common for the lower classes. But even more revealing, medical care. Archaeologists found skeletons with serious injuries, broken bones, fractures, and those bones had healed cleanly, properly. That means someone treated them. Someone set those bones. Someone cared whether they lived or died. A slave with a broken leg is a liability, disposable. They were valuable. Then came one of the most unexpected discoveries. In 1990, a tourist's horse stumbled near the site and broke through the surface, revealing a hidden tomb beneath. That accident led to the discovery of an entire cemetery right next to the pyramids. Now think about that. In ancient Egypt, being buried near a pharaoh's pyramid was an extraordinary honor. It meant being close to the king, even in the afterlife. This was reserved for elites, officials, important figures, not slaves. And yet, here were the builders, buried with care, with respect, with offerings of bread and beer for the afterlife. Even in death, their role was acknowledged, their contribution remembered. And then, they left something behind. Something unmistakably human. Graffiti. Crew names written directly onto the stones. Names like the Friends of Khufu, the Drunkards of Menkaure. These aren't the words of suffering. They're the words of identity, of camaraderie, of pride. This wasn't a slave force. It was a workforce, a team. Once you understand who built the pyramids, the mystery of how begins to fade. They used sleds to move massive blocks. They poured water on sand to reduce friction, making heavy loads easier to pull. They built ramp systems to move stones upward. They used copper tools and sand to shape even the hardest rock. And they aligned everything using the stars. Not magic, not aliens, human ingenuity. So when you strip away the myths, the truth is far more powerful. The pyramids were not built by slaves. They were not built by aliens. They were built by people, organized, skilled, working together towards something bigger than themselves. Not a mystery of the unknown. They are a reminder of what humans are capable of.